Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect at first, charming, confident, even irresistible, but slowly, something felt wrong? You started doubting yourself. You felt drained after talking to them. You felt like nothing you did was ever good enough. And the strange part? They never apologized. They never took responsibility. And somehow, everything was always your fault. Today we are talking about one of the most dangerous personality types in modern psychology: narcissism. Not the kind you see in selfies or social media jokes, but real narcissism, the kind that destroys relationships, families, and even lives. By the end of this video, you will understand what narcissism really is, how narcissists think, why they manipulate people, why they never change, and how to protect yourself from them, because once you understand a narcissist, you will never see them the same again. The word narcissism is used everywhere today. People say, he loves himself too much, she is so narcissistic, he just wants attention. But real narcissism is much deeper than that. In psychology, narcissism exists on a spectrum. On one side, there is healthy confidence. On the other side, there is narcissistic personality disorder. This disorder is recognized by psychologists as a serious personality condition. People with this disorder have an extreme need for admiration, a lack of empathy, and a deep fear of feeling inferior. And this fear controls everything they do. Most people think narcissists feel superior, but the truth is, many narcissists feel empty inside. They build a fake identity to hide that emptiness. One of the most confusing things about narcissists is that they often seem amazing in the beginning. They are charming, funny, confident, successful, attractive, interesting. This is not an accident. Narcissists learn how to create an image that makes people admire them. Psychologists sometimes call this the false self. The false self is the mask a narcissist shows to the world. Behind the mask, there is insecurity, fear, and a constant need for validation. This is why many people fall in love with narcissists. Not because they are stupid, but because the narcissist knows exactly how to make you feel special, at first. Many relationships with narcissists start with something called love bombing. Love bombing means giving extreme attention, extreme compliments, and extreme affection. They may say, "You are the best person I ever met. I never felt like this before. We are meant to be together. I want to spend my life with you." And it feels incredible, because humans naturally want to feel chosen. But love bombing is not real love. It is a strategy. The narcissist wants to create emotional attachment as fast as possible, because once you are attached, it becomes harder to leave. After the love bombing phase, something strange happens. The narcissist changes. They become cold, critical, distant, sometimes even cruel. You start asking yourself, what did I do wrong? You try harder, you give more, you apologize more. And this is exactly what the narcissist wants. Because control makes them feel powerful. Narcissists often need control to feel safe. If they feel equal to someone, they feel threatened. So they create situations where they are always above you. And the easiest way to do that is to make you feel below them. One of the biggest signs of narcissism is the inability to take responsibility. Normal people can say, "I was wrong, I hurt you, I'm sorry." For a narcissist, this feels impossible, because admitting fault feels like weakness, and weakness feels dangerous to them. So instead of apologizing, they blame. They blame you. They blame their past. They blame stress. They blame everyone, except themselves. This is why arguments with narcissists never end. You are trying to solve the problem. They are trying to protect their ego. Not all narcissists look the same. Some are loud and arrogant. Some are quiet and insecure. Some look successful. Some look like victims. This is why narcissism is so hard to recognize. Most people think a narcissist is just someone who says, "I'm better than everyone." But in psychology, there are different types of narcissists, and some of them are much harder to see. The grandiose narcissist. The first type is the grandiose narcissist. This is the type most people imagine. They are confident, dominant, attention-seeking. They like to show success, money, power, or status. They want to be admired. They want to be the best. They often say things like, "I know more than everyone. People are jealous of me. I deserve better than this." Grandiose narcissists feel powerful when others look up to them, but when someone criticizes them, even a little, they can become angry very fast. This is called narcissistic rage. Narcissistic rage happens when their ego feels attacked, and when that happens, they may insult you, ignore you, or try to hurt you emotionally. Not because you did something terrible, but because they cannot handle feeling small. The covert narcissist. The second type is more dangerous. The covert narcissist. Covert narcissists do not look arrogant, they often look shy, quiet, or even insecure. They may act like victims. They may say, "No one understands me. People always treat me badly. I give so much, but nobody cares." At first, they seem sensitive, but over time, you notice something strange. Everything becomes about them. Your problems become smaller, your feelings become less important, your success makes them uncomfortable. Covert narcissists still believe they are special, they just hide it. Instead of saying, "I am better than everyone," they think, "No one is good enough for me, but I won't show it." This type is dangerous in relationships because you may feel guilty all the time without knowing why. The malignant narcissist. The third type is the most toxic. The malignant narcissist. This type combines narcissism with cruelty, manipulation, and sometimes even enjoyment of hurting others. Malignant narcissists may lie easily, they may cheat, they may use people without guilt, they may destroy someone's reputation just to feel powerful. For them, control is everything. They don't just want admiration, they want dominance. Some psychologists believe this type is close to psychopathy, but not exactly the same. Not every narcissist is dangerous, but malignant narcissists can be extremely destructive, especially in close relationships. The victim narcissist. There is another type many people never hear about, the victim narcissist. This person always feels wronged. They always have a story about how someone hurt them, betrayed them, or treated them unfairly. At first you want to help them, you feel sorry for them, but slowly, you realize something. They never take responsibility. Every problem is someone else's fault. Every fight is because of you. Every mistake is because of the world. Victim narcissists use guilt instead of arrogance to control people, and guilt can be stronger than fear. Why narcissists manipulate people? Many people ask, why do narcissists lie? Why do they manipulate? Why do they hurt people who love them? The answer is not simple. Most narcissists are not thinking, "I want to destroy someone today." Instead, they are trying to protect their ego. Deep inside, many narcissists feel not good enough. They feel empty. They feel ashamed. They feel afraid of being ignored. So they create control. Control makes them feel safe. If they can control how you think, how you feel, how you see them, then they don't have to face their own insecurity. This is why narcissists often manipulate the people closest to them, because close relationships have the most power to make them feel vulnerable. Why smart people fall for narcissists? Many people think only weak people get involved with narcissists. This is not true. In fact, narcissists often choose strong, kind, and intelligent people. Why? Because strong people give strong attention, kind people give empathy. And empathetic people are easier to manipulate. Narcissists look for people who care, because people who care will stay longer, try harder, and forgive more. And that gives the narcissist exactly what they want: attention, control, validation. Most people try to understand narcissists the wrong way. They think narcissists see the world the same way normal people do, but they don't. A narcissist does not think like you, they do not feel like you, they do not experience relationships the same way. To understand narcissism, you need to understand one thing first. Everything a narcissist does is about protecting their ego. The fragile ego behind the confidence on the outside. Narcissists look confident, sometimes extremely confident. They talk like they know everything. They act like they are better than everyone. They want attention, admiration, and respect. But inside, many narcissists have a very fragile ego. They cannot handle feeling weak. They cannot handle feeling rejected. They cannot handle feeling unimportant, so they build a personality that hides those feelings. This is why narcissists react so strongly to criticism. Even small criticism can feel like an attack to them. When that happens, they may become angry, cold, or cruel. Not because the criticism was big, but because their ego felt threatened. Why narcissists always need control? Control is very important to narcissists. When they feel in control, they feel safe. When they feel equal to someone, they feel uncomfortable. And when they feel below someone, they feel angry or ashamed. This is why narcissists often try to control conversations, control relationships, and control how people see them. They want to decide what is true. They want to decide who is right. They want to decide how the story ends. If they lose control, they feel exposed. And feeling exposed is something they hate more than anything. Gaslighting, the narcissist's favorite weapon. One of the most common things narcissists do is called gaslighting. Gaslighting means making someone doubt their own memory, their own feelings, or their own reality.
For example, you may say, "You hurt me when you said that." And the narcissist says, "I never said that. You are too sensitive. You always imagine things. You are the problem, not me."
After a while, you start to question yourself. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I remember it wrong. This is exactly what the narcissist wants, because if you doubt yourself, it becomes easier for them to stay in control. One of the biggest frustrations when dealing with a narcissist is that they almost never admit they are wrong. You can show proof. You can explain calmly. You can try to talk like an adult. It usually doesn't matter, because for a narcissist, being wrong feels like being worthless. And they cannot accept that feeling. So instead of saying, "I made a mistake," they say, "You made me do it. You misunderstood. It's your fault. You always cause problems." Blaming others protects their ego, and protecting their ego is more important to them than telling the truth. The cycle of narcissistic relationships. Many relationships with narcissists follow the same pattern. First comes the idealization phase. This is when they admire you, they compliment you, they make you feel special, you feel like you found the perfect person. Then comes the devaluation phase. They become critical, cold, distant, unpredictable. You try harder to fix things. You try to become the person they liked before, but nothing works. Then comes the discard phase. They may leave suddenly. They may replace you quickly. They may act like you never mattered. And the most confusing part is, sometimes they come back. This is called hoovering. They return with apologies, promises, or fake kindness, just to pull you back into the cycle. Why narcissists rarely change. Many people stay with narcissists because they hope the narcissist will change. They remember the good moments, they remember the love bombing, they remember how perfect it felt in the beginning. But real change is very rare, not impossible, but rare. Because change requires self-reflection. Change requires admitting fault. Change requires feeling empathy. And these are exactly the things narcissists struggle with the most. A narcissist may promise to change when they are afraid of losing control. But once they feel safe again, they often return to the same behavior. Not because they planned it, but because this is how their personality works. Why leaving a narcissist feels so hard? People often ask, if narcissists are so toxic, why don't people just leave? The answer is simple. Because narcissistic relationships create addiction-like attachment. The love bombing gives you strong emotions. The cold behavior creates anxiety. The small moments of kindness give hope. Your brain starts chasing the good moments like a reward. This is called trauma bonding. And trauma bonds can be very strong, sometimes stronger than love. Narcissists can seem like perfect partners in the beginning. They know how to talk. They know how to make you feel special. They know how to create strong emotions very fast. Many people who date a narcissist say the same thing. It felt like a dream at first, but over time, the dream turns into confusion, then stress, then emotional pain. Why narcissists are so attractive at first. Narcissists often study people without realizing it. They learn what others like. They learn what others want to hear. They learn how to create attraction. At the beginning of a relationship, they may act like your perfect match. They like the same things. They agree with your opinions. They give you attention all the time. This makes you feel understood. It makes you feel chosen. But this is often part of the idealization phase. They are not showing their true self. They are showing the version of themselves that gets the most admiration. Emotional abuse with a narcissist usually starts slowly, not with screaming, not with violence. It starts with small things, small criticism, small jokes at your expense, small moments where they ignore your feelings. If you react, they may say, "You are too sensitive. It was just a joke. You always make problems." So you stop reacting. And that is when the pattern becomes stronger. The silent treatment. One of the most common things narcissists do is the silent treatment. They stop talking, they ignore messages, they act like you don't exist. This is not the same as needing space. The silent treatment is punishment. It is used to make you feel anxious. It makes you wonder what you did wrong. It makes you want to fix the situation, and when you try to fix it, the narcissist feels in control again. Control gives them power. Why narcissists lie so easily. Many people are shocked by how easily narcissists can lie. They may lie about small things. They may lie about big things. They may lie even when the truth is obvious. This happens because narcissists care more about their image than about reality. If the truth makes them look bad, they may change the story. Not always because they plan to lie, but because protecting their ego feels more important than being honest. Cheating and betrayal patterns. Not every narcissist cheats, but cheating is more common in highly narcissistic personalities. Why? Because they need attention, they need validation, they need to feel desired. One person is often not enough. If they feel bored, ignored, or insecure, they may look for someone new to give them admiration again. And when they get caught, they may blame you. You didn't give me enough attention. You pushed me away. You made me do it. Again, they protect their ego instead of taking responsibility. Why narcissists come back after breakup? Many people think the relationship is over when the narcissist leaves, but often, it is not the end. Narcissists sometimes come back after weeks, months, or even years. This is called hoovering. They may send a message like, "I miss you. I changed. I was wrong. You were the best thing in my life." This can feel very emotional, because you remember the good times, but many times the reason they come back is not love, it is control. They want to see if they still have access to you. If you respond, they feel powerful again. How narcissists make you lose yourself. One of the most dangerous parts of a narcissistic relationship is that you slowly lose your confidence. At first you feel strong, then you start doubting yourself. You wonder if you are too emotional, too jealous, too sensitive, too difficult. You try to change yourself to make the relationship work, but the more you change, the more control the narcissist has. Until one day, you don't feel like yourself anymore. The moment people finally understand, many people only realize they were with a narcissist after the relationship ends. When the stress is gone, they start seeing the pattern, the love bombing, the criticism, the gaslighting, the silent treatment, the lies, the control, and suddenly, everything makes sense. They were not crazy, they were manipulated. Dealing with a narcissist is not like dealing with a normal person. You cannot use the same rules, you cannot expect the same reactions, and you cannot fix them by being more kind. Many people make the same mistake. They think if they explain better, if they love more, if they stay patient, the narcissist will understand. But narcissistic personalities do not work that way. To protect yourself, you need a different approach. Stop trying to make them understand. One of the biggest traps when dealing with a narcissist is trying to make them understand your feelings. You explain calmly, you try to communicate, you try to solve the problem, but the conversation goes in circles. They change the topic. They blame you, they deny what happened. They act like you are the problem. This happens because many narcissists do not listen to understand. They listen to defend themselves. If admitting your pain makes them feel wrong, they will reject your pain. Not because your feelings are not real, but because their ego cannot handle it. Set boundaries, even if they don't like it. Healthy relationships need boundaries, but narcissists often hate boundaries. When you say no, they may call you selfish. When you ask for respect, they may say you are difficult. When you protect yourself, they may say you changed. This is because boundaries remove their control, and losing control makes them uncomfortable. If you deal with a narcissist, you need clear limits, not to punish them, but to protect yourself. Do not expect closure. Many people want closure after dealing with a narcissist. They want the narcissist to admit what happened. They want an apology. They want honesty. Sometimes that never comes, not because you don't deserve it, but because the narcissist cannot face their own behavior. If admitting the truth makes them feel weak, they may avoid the truth forever. Waiting for closure from a narcissist can keep you stuck for years. Sometimes closure is something you give yourself. The power of no contact. One of the strongest ways to break the cycle with a narcissist is no contact, no messages, no calls, no checking their social media, no reacting to their attempts to reach you. This is not revenge, it is protection. Narcissistic relationships often continue as long as there's emotional reaction and even negative attention can keep the connection alive. When the reaction stops, the control starts to disappear. Why narcissists hate losing control. When a narcissist feels they are losing control over you, their behavior may change. They may become nicer, they may apologize, they may act like the person you met in the beginning. This can be confusing. You may think, finally they changed. But often, this happens because they feel the connection slipping away. And losing control can feel like losing power. Not every apology is fake, but with narcissistic patterns, change usually takes a long time and real self-awareness. How to stay strong around a narcissist. If you cannot avoid a narcissist, for example at work, in family or in school, there are ways to protect your mind. Do not overshare personal feelings. Do not react to every comment. Do not try to win every argument. Narcissists often look for emotional reactions. If they see you upset, they feel powerful. Staying calm does not mean you accept their behavior. It means you don't give them control over your emotions. Why strong people scare narcissists? Narcissists often look confident, but truly strong people can make them uncomfortable. Strong people set limits. Strong people see manipulation faster. Strong people do not depend on approval. This makes control harder. And when control is harder, the narcissist may lose interest or try different tactics. Sometimes the best way to deal with a narcissist is not to fight them but to stop playing their game. You cannot save everyone. Many people stay too long with narcissists because they want to help them. They see the insecurity, they see the pain, they believe the narcissist can change, and sometimes change is possible. But change only happens when the person wants to change. You cannot force self-awareness. You cannot force empathy. You cannot force growth. Trying to save someone who refuses to see the problem can destroy your own peace. The most important lesson. The most important thing to understand about narcissists is this. You are not responsible for fixing their personality. You are responsible for protecting your own life. In the past, the word narcissism was not used very often. Today, you hear it everywhere. People talk about narcissists in relationships, narcissists at work, narcissistic parents, narcissistic friends. Some psychologists believe narcissistic traits are becoming more common in modern society, not because people suddenly changed overnight, but because the world itself has changed. Social media and the culture of image. We live in a time where image is very important. Likes, followers, views, status, attention. Social media rewards people for looking perfect, for showing success, for showing beauty, for showing confidence, and this can make narcissistic behavior stronger. When attention becomes the goal, people start building a version of themselves that gets the most approval. This does not mean everyone is a narcissist, but it does mean the environment can encourage narcissistic traits. Confidence versus narcissism. It is important to understand something. Confidence is healthy. Self-respect is healthy. Knowing your value is healthy. Narcissism is different. Confidence says, I know my worth and others have worth too. Narcissism says, I must feel superior, or I feel nothing. Confidence allows connection. Narcissism destroys connection, because real relationships require empathy, and empathy is exactly what strong narcissism lacks. Even though narcissists can hurt people, their personality often comes from deep insecurity. Some grew up with too much criticism. Some grew up with too much pressure. Some grew up with no emotional support. Some were praised only for success, never for who they were. Over time, they learned one thing: being perfect gets attention, being weak gets rejected. So they built a personality that never wants to look weak again. This does not excuse their behavior, but it helps explain it. Why understanding narcissism gives you power. When you don't understand narcissism, you blame yourself. You think, maybe I am too sensitive, maybe I did something wrong, maybe I could have fixed it. But when you understand narcissism, the confusion starts to disappear. You see the patterns, the love bombing, the control, the gaslighting, the blame, the silent treatment, the cycle repeating again and again. And once you see the pattern, it becomes harder for anyone to use it against you. Not every narcissist is the same. It is also important to remember, not everyone with narcissistic traits is a bad person. Some people have mild narcissism and can still have healthy relationships. Some people can learn, some people can grow, some people can change. But strong narcissistic personalities rarely change without serious effort, and you cannot force that effort. You can only decide how close you allow them to be in your life. The final truth about narcissists. The final truth about narcissists is not about them. It is about you. You cannot control their behavior. You cannot force them to understand you. You cannot make them feel empathy if they refuse to. But you can control your boundaries. You can control your reactions. You can control who has access to your time, your energy, and your emotions. And that is where your power is. The final truth about narcissists is not really about them. It is about you. You cannot control their behavior. You cannot force them to understand you. You cannot make them feel empathy if they refuse to. But you can control your boundaries. You can control your reactions. You can control who has access to your time, your energy, and your mind. And that is where your power is. If you have ever felt confused in a relationship, if you have ever felt like you lost yourself, if you have ever felt like nothing you did was enough, you are not alone. Many people have gone through me sigur stan. Jans. Sirisamin dandri endri. Understanding narcissism can change the way you see people forever, because once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it, and if this video helped you understand something you couldn't explain before, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we will go deeper into psychology, manipulation, human behavior, and the dark side of the mind. Leave a comment below if you have ever dealt with a narcissist, or if you recognize some of these signs. Your story might help someone else realize they are not alone. And if you want to learn how to protect yourself from toxic people, watch the next video on the screen right now, because the more you understand the mind, the harder it becomes for anyone to control you.